It takes a revolution, forget the scandal industry. The subtitle is quickly becoming equal to the first title. It takes a revolution, forget the scandal industry. You can see that Fox News in particular is profiting from this Hunter Biden scandal. They needed a new scandal. They needed some new life. They needed to breathe something into their moribund broadcasting, which has been discredited not just by President Donald Trump, but by most conservatives. People now see through Fox News. They see how manipulative it is, how it plays both sides of the street, how it doesn't really represent conservatives. So they're using this to try to put their standing back in shape. But here are the hard, cold facts. Here is the reality. As occurred with James Comey, with Andrew McCabe, with the Lovebirds, with Bruce Orr, with Obama's intelligence czars Clapper and Brennan, with the Bidens before, because the former Attorney General Barr, who's now been fired, a little too late, said that they were off limits. The Clintons were off limits. The Obamas were off limits. Nothing will happen with Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, and Joe Biden's brother, or any of the Biden family. It just simply won't happen. If it wouldn't happen when the Republicans controlled the Justice Department, it's certainly not going to happen when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are in control of our so-called Department of Injustice. So this is the game. It's very important that you not be deceived. Newsmax is playing the same game. Under Chris Ruddy, they claim they're now the Trump News Network. But it just so happens that Chris Ruddy gave $1 million to the Clinton Foundation. And now that Biden and Harris are in control, it wouldn't surprise me if he started lining the pockets of them as well. Fair weather friend. I remember when I ran for the U.S. Senate in 2003, 2004, I thought he was my friend. Instead, he went off and he backed Mel Martinez, a real loser, who ultimately became senator, didn't even want to be senator, and he quit. But this is what you're dealing with, not just with the leftist media, you're dealing with the so-called conservative media. And this is why the president would be well advised when he leaves office, and he will leave office because the Republicans aren't standing up for him either. And so far, he seems to have lost his nerve. He's just going along with things. I've suggested, others have suggested, that if he has evidence of widespread voter fraud, he should declare martial law and set up a new election with safeguards that we have a fair and free election and we know who actually won. But he's not doing that. And you have to wonder whether he fears that Justice Department that's coming in of Biden and Harris. Does he fear the prosecutors in New York City and New York State that they'll indict him and his family? Is he getting gun shy? In fact, he's been gun shy for a long time. He's taken no real action with regard to China and what happened there. You have to ask yourself the question, what do the Chinese have on him? We don't know. Now, I think the president did a great job in the last 4 years, but there are a lot of unanswered questions here, and it's hard to understand why he's sitting there going merrily along to January 20th when he's going to be thrown out of office based on massive fraud. So these are the questions that need to be asked. But as far as the Bidens are concerned, look to see what Freedom Watch and Larry Klayman and people who support them do right after the new year. We'll be commissioning a citizens grand jury. We will be seeking the indictment of Joe Biden, of Hunter Biden, of Joe Biden's brother, of others. This will be our first target. We, of course, indicted Robert Mueller last fall, and we're going to be trying him as well. And we'll be taking care of Comey and McCabe and Clapper and Brennan, the Obamas, the Clintons, the rest. It's time for the American people to rise up. We need to wage a second American revolution. We need to take our justice system back, just as the colonialists did and the founding fathers did from King George III, who stole it and took it to London. Without a system of justice, we have no republic at all, and we barely have one right now. So I want you to go out and get my book. You can get it at Amazon.com and all major booksellers. You can also get it off of Freedom Watch's website at freedomwatchusa.org with a contribution of $50 or more. We'll send it to you free of charge. I want you to read it because it is Clayman's manifesto. It's what we need to do to save this country. We're going to be going forward without President Trump because he's not even helping himself at this point. And we need to plan on how we defend ourselves because the radical leftists want to literally slit our throat. And once they acquire power, they'll never allow it to be given back. That's a fact. And you can count on the Republicans losing the Senate elections in Georgia. There are already about 1.5 million paper ballots in the mail. There's no way they win that. And we will have a leftist, socialist, communist onslaught with higher taxes, with laws which restrict your liberty, which enslave you further, notwithstanding everything that's going on with COVID-19. So now is the time to rise up. Now is the time that tries men's souls. It's not the time for summer soldiers and sunshine patriots, as Thomas Paine wrote during the days leading up to the revolution, the first revolution. As Jefferson predicted, we have entered into yet another revolution, and we want to see it to be a bloodless revolution, a peaceful and legal revolution. So go out and get my book. It Takes a Revolution. Forget the scandal industry. Get up off the couch, get to work, and join Freedom Watch and I in trying to save this country. And pray to God that he will be with us, because he will be with us if we're with ourselves. Thank you for listening to me. I'll be back tomorrow with another special podcast. Until then, thank you for listening to me.
There's an underdog story happening today in America, one that couldn't have been scripted. Small businesses are fighting to make a big comeback. But in the moment they have the least, they're giving the most. They're rallying communities, feeding those in need, yet asking for little in return. It's pretty incredible, isn't it? But they still need our support, now more than ever. Small Unites is making it simple for everyone to take action and give back to the small business that unites us all. Shop, share, and donate today at smallunites.org.